Hello and good evening. We are here for our usual recapping week 15 of the fantasy basketball season. This is the University of Fantasy Basketball podcast. Dr. Dane Andre with our distinguished professor, Kilonomics. How are you doing today, brother?
Man, I am in the zone, man. Playoffs is here, regular season is behind us, and trying to, do everything to make sure that my team prospers and moves on and gets to that promised land.
Sure. Yeah, we made some predictions, not only about the matchups from week 15, but also about our playoff predictions, who was going to actually advance. We're here. As you mentioned, we've got our results, and so we've got some things to cover. But first, let's talk about real quick the matchups from week 15. Here were our picks. First matchup, Great Danes took on the Bimtown Celtics. Any thoughts on this matchup for you?
I wasn't paying too close attention to the matchup, other than I thought you would win by a couple more categories than the narrow 5-4. I did get a chance to look at your overall numbers. Don't know exactly what happened, but they were piss poor performance. But I mean, it just shows you, how high your floor is, right? I think that's probably one of the worst weeks that your team's had in a while, and to still come away with a victory against another playoff team is, it's pretty respectable.
Yeah. No way to put this in any other terms, man. We were trash last week. I don't know what happened. I mean, I kind of know what happened. It was a couple of things that happened. Malcolm Brogdon missed a couple of games. I believe Kyrie got kicked out of the game, and then maybe just didn't. That wasn't a huge deal, but it did kind of piss me off that he got kicked out of that game for no reason. I felt like, I told you, I think he probably had a party to go to or something and needed an early exit.
Did you hear the story of what happened?
No. What happened?
Oh.
All I saw was him and Schroeder had some words, and then all of a sudden Kyrie was kicked out. I was like,
so they had some words, but those words are kind of important. So, Schroeder, used the N-word with Kyrie, and Kyrie has kind of been going, right? He's changed a whole lot, right? And so there's a lot that he's learned about himself and how he wants himself and his community to be projected. And so, the N-word is one of the words that he doesn't tolerate. And I can get behind him, and I can understand that. However, he still has to understand, in my opinion, it's a word that he's used in the past. I'm sure he's got friends that also use that word. And so for him to go, head over heels over Schroeder, was probably a little bit much, right? Like, enlighten him, let him know, where you stand. But I mean, to make it go at no end was just, it's not helping, whatever he's trying to push into the world. So.
Yeah, I mean, this is the NBA. That won't be the last time he hears that word. I mean, these guys are, at any given point, he's going to hear that even from his own teammates. So he's got to do better. He's got to, keep his cool and not let stuff like that. Anyway, that even more makes me feel like he's trying to get kicked out of the game early. Like, oh, I'm not giving him a pass on that one. But okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't shoot. For whatever reason, we didn't shoot. We weren't shooting threes. I don't know what really know what to make of that, but you know, we just did not have a good effort in any kind of way. We had a couple of guys in the lineup that we usually wouldn't, and um, we've got some things to work out with some of our role players, but we got some injuries to kind of tend to, but long story short, we had a good enough week to play against a high scoring, high power octane team like Bimtown. They've got super talented players over there, Doncic and Powell, and Booker, and Zion, of course. And Cantor had like a 30 rebound game on me, which was interesting to see. I think he made the biggest difference for them. But if I'm not mistaken, like Robert Williams for me had 34 rebounds all week, and Enes Kanter had 30 rebounds in a game. So that kind of explains why some categories we probably had no chance in winning, but we did enough. So that's all I'm gonna say about that one. Let's move on to Amherst and NYK.
Yeah, two teams, get ready for next season, right? Both have had, their struggles with injuries. We got Shea, from what I can remember, from Amherst Speedsters, and we've got Fred VanVleet, from what I can remember, from NYK, and just not an overall interesting matchup for me. NYK has shown, that he can beat some elite teams and can really put together a strong weekly performance, but just not active enough, right, to really be able to push through, some injuries throughout the season, but was able to come away with a victory in this matchup like we expected.
Yeah. Only the most interesting thing about this matchup to me was the performance of Kristaps Porzingis and Vujicic. Vujicic had some, as usual, some really strong monstrous games, but Porzingis, man, he had a few games that really got me excited. So I'm surprised they couldn't win by more, win any more categories with as good as he did. But if you look at the matchup, actually, Amherst it could have went in a few different ways, actually. So a few more assists and Amherst could have actually taken this matchup, and a few more, free throws being taken and made by Amherst, and it could have been different. So, like you said, nothing super interesting about this matchup, but two teams getting ready for next year, and went the way we thought. So, moving on to Rucker Park and Beantown. We both picked Rucker Park in this one, but Beantown found a way to make it happen. So, what did you see here?
Rucker Park, man. Anytime you try to put them on the pedestal and say they're ready to put a route on the team, they just pull out hot garbage, hot trash, and that's exactly what happened here. But no, that's not the story. I mean, the team was just unfortunately hit with the injury bug and folks sitting out. Like Giannis has been out for more than a week with with the omnius knee injury. Like he's been out for like 4 or 5 games. You know, with no return, with no return date in sight. Kawhi Leonard sat out a game or 2. And there were some other players that sat out games. So I think for Rucker Park Busters, it was, it was a decent effort, given how many players he had suit up for the week. And Beantown Bombers, started to, put things together, when we started to, count them out. We got KD back. He's on a minutes restriction, but he's still putting up, efficient lines. Zach Levine looks like he's finally starting to get it going because he was in a little bit of a funk, since the Vucevic trade. So I thought it was a good victory for the Beantown Bombers, heading into playoffs, a must win.
Yeah, I agree. Rucker Park kind of dealing with absences. Giannis. Good thing for him, the lucky thing for him is that he's being considered day to day. I personally think
day to day for 5 games, man.
Yeah, I personally think, man, give that guy all the rest he can handle, man. I just, I don't know. There's no reason for him to rush back. There's nothing for him to rush back to. They're cruising, man. The Bucks are, somewhere up there in the top of the East, and we don't need to see him come back just soon enough. He can.
April 20th sound about right? That sound like a good return date for him.
Sounds great to me. This matchup, as we know, if it actually, even with the challenges that Rucker Park faced, they could have easily won this matchup still. We're talking about, 100th of a point when it comes to free throws that separated that got Beantown the win. So it could have actually Beantown. Rucker Park could have actually still won this matchup, which is interesting enough. And that to me tells you what kind of team this is. So, but luckily for Beantown, KD came back with a quick appearance and played well. That's a good sign for him going into the playoffs. And, everyone is pretty much healthy. Christian Wood has been playing. Kyle Lowry's back for them as of, I think I saw him on Sunday. Yeah, I think he played on Sunday. And then you're right. Zach Levine really hasn't played well since the Vucevic trade. But last week wasn't terrible. He shot, about 48%, which is not as efficient as he usually has been shooting throughout the season, but by his standards, it's still pretty good shooting. So that's a positive sign for him. RJ Barrett again has been playing really well for that team. He's hitting his corner threes, which is good, and actually was like second on the team, second on Beantown with in terms of 3-point shooting this week. That's not, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's something. It's not nothing. So all right, let's move on to your matchup. Not an interesting matchup, but you beat up on the Kings. Played really well, man. Kelly Olynyk, man, I'm kind of sick that I dropped him.
Yeah, man, I had a tough choice. It was when I was picking up Olynyk, it was between him and the guy you picked up. I actually had waiver claims for both, and I could have won them because I had a higher bid in place. I can't remember the guy's name. Who was a frequent player that you picked up? Might have been the guy off the Wolves. I think it was McDaniels. I think it was Jalen McDaniels. Yeah.
I actually, as a backup, I had put in a waiver pickup for Olenek. So
Yeah.
I
So we swapped
yeah,
the
yeah,
order.
it's fine.
I was looking at Olenek's numbers with Houston, and I was just like, nah, these numbers are godly, and I'm trying to win now. So,
Yeah,
you
no, it was a
know,
great pickup.
as much as I think McDaniels is the, long term play, I was just like, I need something right now.
Yeah.
Because my power forward slot is looking shaky. Keldon Johnson is not playing as good as he was playing early on in the year, and Ben Simmons is he's got me questioning, his commitment to basketball, because his numbers have just been trash, just
All-Star
absolute
Ben
trash.
Simmons? Oh,
Well, getting up to the All-Star, he was decent, but after that, like, some of these players, he just took a break, took a rest. I mean, the team's still winning, right? Even though he's playing awful.
they should have
Guys feel
they should have put Tobias Harris in the All-Star game, not Ben Simmons. But
Well, this is
I
this is
digress.
Tobias. This is Tobias Harris time, right? It's playoff time. He can prove why, he should have been on that All-Star team. This is your opportunity,
I'm
Dane.
not benching Tobias Harris.
Uh,
He's in my
well,
lineup.
well, Ben Simmons, I'm hiding his jersey, right? Like he should be benched. He shouldn't be playing. Like he's clearly nursing something, right? Whether it's physical or mental, something's going on, and I'm
I don't know,
hiding his
Kyle. He looked
jersey.
good tonight. He's playing right. He played.
Nah, 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 that's not good. 2 for 6 from the free throw line. 9, 8, and 7 against. They were playing some pathetic team. I can't even think what pathetic team they were playing tonight. But it's somebody that he should have like a quadruple double. Oh, Dallas. They were playing Dallas. He should have like a quadruple double with no Porzingis. The lane is open against that team. That defense is trash, and he's putting up 9, 8, and 7, and 1 steal. Nah, man.
Yeah,
Come on,
actually,
man.
I lied. Yeah, he they played Dallas tonight. Yeah, you're right. And
That's a
yeah,
trash lie.
2 for 6 at the free throw line, and
Like,
eight
I can't take
points,
that.
rebounds, 7 assists.
Like, if you're gonna give me 2 for 6 in the line, give me like 17 points on like 60% shooting, or give me like 11 rebounds. I need something crazy because the team that I'm playing against, rebound is not that strong. I mean, of course, unless Cantor goes for another 30 rebounds a game, of course.
These look like Ben Simmons rookie numbers, man. This is
Yeah, exactly. Invisible, because he didn't really have a rookie damn season.
damn.
That fake rookie year, man. Yeah, man. His numbers. I mean, he's ranked number 100 on the year. I mean, it just tells you everything.
Yeah, it's not good.
But my man Cat has been out of this world. He's
Mhm.
probably like the number one fantasy player by average, I imagine. And TJ McConnell, every 3 or 4 games, man, he gives you a line. It's just like that's that's my guy. That's why you in here, because you could pop off for 14 assists.
TJ McConnell.
Uh,
Hey,
yeah. And then
that's
Kyle Anderson, man, he gives the steals and blocks slow mo, man. He just
Kyle
it's,
Anderson. He's been good for you. He's been good for
yeah,
you. He's been holding you down.
man. I know. Just to think, I almost considered trading him for Andre Drummond. I almost thought about doing that trade, but I was like, nah, I kind of need him small forward, looking shaky. I need choices, and so I opted to go a different route. But yeah, man, great week by my team. This is
Yeah.
what I've been looking for. The last, like, it feels like a month. We've been in like this slump. So this is good heading into the playoffs.
Yeah. Not a good week for the Kings last week. I'm not sure what happened. Curry played, but Beal missed some games. He probably missed all but one game.
Mhm.
Um, Bam had a okay week. Um, and then it's one of those weeks where you only got what you played pretty much 8 on 6, you know.
Mm.
So it's going to be difficult for the Kings playing against one of the best teams in the league. So no surprise there. All right, let's go to Dame Stop, who took on Frankfurt, the F17, the 17ers, looking hot right now. Hot.
Flying high in the sky.
Yeah, man. This is a team who before the trade deadline was on the verge of it was inching closer. We're in the 9th seed, and then made a huge push in the last couple of weeks, and now they're all the way up to number 5. I believe they're the 5th seed, if I'm not mistaken, 5th or 6th. After this win, but anything you found interesting about this matchup?
I mean, yeah, 17. I mean, it's just Darren Fox, man. He just continues to put up numbers, man. This guy's just been balling. But just, I mean, F17 played really well. It was also more about the direction that Dame Stop is going, right? With now the Gordon Hayward injury, Dame Lillard hasn't been playing the same since CJ's been back. Plumlee's been out, right? Because Detroit looks like, they're trying to rest him or not really play him since they're not going any direction. So it was more of Dame Stop, breaking down, in my opinion, as well.
Mm-hmm.
That we need to give credit for.
Yeah, nothing really else to add there. Definitely a disappointing performance for Dame Stop, who had been really challenging other teams, and been able to pull out some 5-4 victories. But I think they just ran into a team that was pretty motivated. Has a few guys that have stepped in. Lonzo Ball came back last week, and he played a few games, so he's been missing a missing piece of the equation. Same thing with Wendell Carter Jr. He's now suddenly in the lineup and performed pretty well last week. His last couple of games were down, but he's been good. And their newest acquisition, Karis LeVert, he's put up some big numbers while being over in Frankfurt. So everything looks good. Anthony Edwards, their rookie, is really contributing. And as you mentioned, Fox. So having Anunoby back, and DeAndre Ayton, now they have a slightly some kind of a twin towers with Ayton and Carter Jr. So I mean that'll be interesting. We'll see what they can do in the playoffs. San Juan Titans taking on Syracuse. Nothing here to see, man. Anything you want to touch on?
San Juan finishing off strong, man. Like they've put it together. Unfortunately, it took a little bit too late. But we'll get into how they finished a little bit later. But yeah, no surprises here. Good victory for San Juan.
Yeah, definitely. True Grit pulls out a slight sort of an upset against Solid State. We both went for Solid State, but Solid State going through some things right now. No James Harden. James Harden missed pretty much the whole week last week. Collins is hurt, and
Sabonis was in and out of the
Sabonis
lineup
was
too.
also, yeah, Sabonis was also out of service. So True Grit found a way to rally the troops and gain a win. Anything you want to expound on in this matchup?
No, man. I mean, Solid State, as you pointed out, had some key injuries or folks out, and so that's what led to the True Grit victory.
Yeah. And to round things out, got Cranston, man. Cranston went to Midtown and, pretty much laid down. They continue to slide and now have officially put themselves out the playoffs with this performance. D'Angelo Russell came back for them, which was surprising. I certainly didn't expect to see D'Angelo Russell back this season at all. So I was surprised to see him on the floor. Still no LeBron. Jared Allen remains in concussion protocol. Not sure what's going on there. Yeah, it was tough. I think Ingram even missed a couple of games. So, what can you say?
Yeah, I mean, this is what the Cranston Killers have been the last couple of weeks, man. And you play another, top tier team. It's going to be pretty tough to win a matchup if you don't have at least 7 out of your 8 players, let alone 6. So kudos to the Midtown Money Man and Cranston Killers. Maybe this is a lesson learned as far as like how to manage a roster and figure out a way to battle through injuries. Maybe having to shake things up or get some players which are less likely to get injured, or even if they do get injured, just wheeling and dealing to kind of ride that wave. I think there was just too many injuries for this team.
Yeah, they kind of piled up on him late in the season. But it would have been nice to see some wheeling and dealing to try to salvage that season, because really from the last, I guess, 5 weeks or so, it was rocky and too rocky. Unfortunately, cost them a playoff run at the chip. So that was disappointing. Those were our matchups for week 15, and after this week 15 matchup ended, it really took us back to the standings. And as we can see here, we have all of our playoff teams locked and loaded, ready to go. 5 playoff teams coming from the Eastern Division. Everyone we pretty much thought would be there at this point. I mean, you actually voted Rucker Park out when we did our our trivia, our hot seat a couple of weeks ago.
Somebody's got to deliver the hot take. But part of that was my team, not delivering, what I thought was going to be a victory against Rucker Park.
Mm-hmm.
So that certainly played a role. Because how far back? 2 games ish. Still pretty close. Yeah, I would have needed a 6-3, 7-2. So I mean, even despite that, Record Park probably still squeezes in.
No doubt. No doubt. Yeah, so
Man,
this is a
your team,
snapshot. Say it again.
your team, the only team at 600 or above in the association this year. Kudos, man.
Thank you. Thank you. This is not one of we've had seasons where we've had teams, been in the hundreds in terms of their win total or their winning I don't know, category. How many categories they won in each matchup, but this was how close it was and how low the numbers are. Kind of just tells you what a shaky season it's been in between COVID protocols and injuries and the shortened season. It's been real crazy, man. So yeah, I'll take it, man. Number one seed coming into the playoffs. Give me that money. Give me that money.
Guaranteed dollars, man. Another regular season championship banner for the Great Danes.
Yeah, man. I'll take it. I am happy with that. So, no more thoughts on the Week 15 matchup. We'll close it off right here and get ready for our Week 16 playoff round 1 matchups preview coming up next. Peace.